Hi, everybody. Buenos dias, buongiorno. How many Italians are here? I think we are two. Spanish? I know you are from Barcelona. Okay. So, let's talk about keyword research and topical research. Okay. We have all here fantastic speaker talking about wonderful campaigns and so on, but I'm a freelance. I'm a solo consultant. Sometimes I don't have a budget. Sometimes I feel really lost because Dr. Pitt is substantially telling us that Google is something like this. It's going to be a David 8 Prometheus bot. We all know the theory. We know that semantics is governing it. We all read B. Slasky, Barbara Starr. We all hear Rand Fishkin talking about where Google is going to be. But what about doing? When we have to put all these things that we learn, that we read in practice. Especially when you have something like a client which is a multi-country site, small site in a small niche travel industry, and is saying, okay, we have to do content marketing, we have to find ideas. And is especially targeting selling solo and small groups, tailor-made travelers in places that you don't know anything about them. So, let's start using Google better. I usually start from Google Trends. This is just one slide from a snapshot from USA, but I did the same thing for UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So I was taking the main country they were selling travel, and I started trying to understand the story behind all these kind of noodles and lines. I saw interesting seasonal spike, which is classic in travel. But I was surprised by Japan because all the other countries were telling me that Vietnam was a rising country as interest. So, first thing you have to understand, don't be data-driven. Being data-driven is for bots. Better to be data-informed. Understand the story behind the data. And the story is that Japan is really searched from Hawaii. And why? Because 1/3 of the population of Hawaii is Japanese or Japanese heritage. So they want to go to Japan to visit family or to find their roots. Another thing you have to understand that you surely understood it, but I'm not English speaking. For me, English is doing international SEO. And sometimes one thing that we forget is that synonyms have a little difference. So I was seeing different things using Vietnam vacation or using Vietnam holidays. So whenever you have some doubt about language, especially when you don't really know the language, or maybe you are using English but you are targeting another English-speaking country, go and use word reference. So I understood that I did a really fast check using Keyword Planner in order to see broad topic, the country, and most important morning keyword vacation. And I saw this sort of classification: Thailand, Japan, Vietnam. Thailand wasn't in my target because Thailand is something like, I don't know, going to Rimini if you are in Italian, or going to Benidorm if you are in English and you want to just relax. It's not for solo or small group traveler. Japan, I understood that before, but it wasn't really in the target, so it was coming again, Vietnam. I was happy because Vietnam was consistent with all the other countries. Because this was a small client with not a really big budget. So I had to find an idea that would be able to fit for all the countries. So, normally we use Keyword Planner just for putting our keywords to see the search volume. Maybe the competition is just that. This is really, really silly. Use Google. You can do somehow this thing also with Facebook in order to simulate ads. You put your main topic, you put your niche industry, really simulate also with negative keywords, etc., and use Wikipedia as your landing page. Google is going to present you a very beautiful list of topics like the Mekong Delta, the Vietnam cycle, they are all ideas, wonderful ideas. And all the keywords in the group are all semantically related keywords about a topic. And then, okay, everybody's talking about use Google Suggest, Keyword Tulio, Uber Suggest. But they forget something. The tools usually present you what Google is suggesting you in the universal search. Actually, Google is using the suggest in every niche. So if you are looking for content more in the news space, go to Google News and see the suggest there. If you want something about video or image, use the verticals. And remember that the suggest thing is not just a Google thing. If you are looking for money topics, go on Amazon and see the suggest in Amazon. If you are looking for broader mainstream topics, go to Pinterest. I'm doing SEO since so many years, and one of the best tools Google had was Wonder Wheel. Actually, you can rebuild it. If you go to the related searches and start connecting all the related searches of the related searches. So, doing so, you are going to have a really strong and clear search ecosystem about your topic. Actually, I don't know of any tools that can do this. So, I know that there are many wonderful coders here. Please create me these tools because I don't want to stay. Then, okay, scrape the scraper. If Google is scraping information from us, why we cannot scrape information from him? I asked to Russ Jones of Angular to tell me how many carousels are present in Google. He has a really wide selection of keywords in the Searchscape. So he told me that, okay, 0.15% of generic carousel and a little bit more of complex carousel. What are the generic carousel? What are the complex? The carousel, the simple, are the classic black and with thumbnails and a link. The complex ones are the best ones. Because I was looking for topics about Vietnam. So Google, one thing where we always forget, that the knowledge graph is, okay, entities and knowledge base. What is the knowledge base? The knowledge base is what every single person in the world is searching in Google. So what is showing Google to us here is what people are really searching about Vietnam. And in the complex, Google is also doing us the favor to tell us for what specific segment. Beaches, Vietnam War, etc. You can use, as I say, Importio or the classic scraper plugin. And remember, the carousel are not just on Google. This is Pinterest. And these are even better. because these are done by the people and for the people, and so use them. Or use the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag search on Instagram, and so on. Obviously, when you are doing keyword research, you want to know what your competitors are doing. I really like SimilarWeb, especially when I don't know the market. If I'm targeting a country that I really don't know, or where my client is not present, I like to use the industry report, the industry niche analysis of SimilarWeb. But I don't stop on organic search. Especially because sometimes in certain niches, your real competitors are doing really bad SEO and so are not really visible. Go for the paid competitors, because there are the real keywords. And when you have individuated your competitors, use a tool like the domain versus domain by SEMrush, which is really nice in order to individuate a really, really tiny group of keywords. Obviously, you should have to use your own data, if you have it. The 90% of my clients, when I start auditing them, never implemented the tracking of internal searches. Please do it. And I say it not just because it's information you are recovering keywords that Google is hiding us, but because internal searches are going, if you match with the conversion information, are going to tell you what kind of keywords or set of keywords are the transactional one, the informational one, navigational one, and you can match with all the keywords that you have hunted before, so in order to classify the quality and the nature of the keywords. Obviously, when you are thinking about content for an audience, you have to talk about things your audience is interested about and talk the language of your audience. So go for forums, go for Quora. I see Quora so many times cited, but so many times not used. Do it. You can use the advanced search of Twitter, maybe using the API. And remember, in Twitter, you can geo-target the searches. So if you are interested in Australian, what people in Australia is saying about the topic on Twitter, you can target it. And you can go also on Facebook, go on communities, groups, grab the RSS URL, put it on Feedly, have all the conversation of the groups in your Feedly, export it, analyze it, etc., etc., etc. But especially, you can use all these sources with tools like NIME or RapidMiner, and I would, where are you, Paul? Okay, you have to ask to Paul Shapiro, who is the guy who wrote the wonderful post I link here, because with tools like this, you can really go in depth in content analysis. You can understand the n-grams, do TF, IDF analysis, and especially you can see the nodes and the edge between topics. And this is not just useful for understanding what you can do about topics, but just imagine knowing the topics, how they are connected, and how you can use this information for internal linking. Obviously, when you have all this information, you have to aggregate and measure, use Excel, use these SEO tools, SEO gadget, use the Moz keyword difficulty tool, or the new opportunity tool, or grab this link and go seeing what Mike King is saying about creating that huge Excel file that Marshall was showing yesterday. And then, okay, create. I'm a freelance, I don't create anything. I usually suggest to my clients what company to eye for creating things. And the guys of Red Mud Media create this. And it was small budget. We worked really hard. And we had quite a success. Actually, the most important information, the most important ROI for my client wasn't really the links. This content was a lead generation content. So they were the inquiries. And they received quite a good number of inquiries just after the launch of a content piece. So we win. And let me finish. Remember always this. The greatest tricks SEO ever pulled was convincing the world it didn't exist. I'm alive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gianluca. Sorry, I'm hobbling a bit, so I know.
I'm too.
We both have bad knees.
We have certain age.
Old SEOs up here.
Yes, we are all old.
Thank you, Gianluca.
You're welcome.
So I believe that you might get bombarded after. I wanted to first tell everyone that he is going to be at the associates or a Q&A table at the
Yes.
Birds of a Feather. That was for Trevor.
With Darren.
After, so be sure if you have questions, that's probably the best place to catch him. I wanted to double check if something specifically came through. One question I really liked, let's do this one, is what specific tools do you use to do the stuff that you work on a daily basis? People want to know what you use. You don't.
On a day-to-day basis. The funny thing is that I've tried substantially, I think, all the tools existing in the world, but then I just use three, four tools. I mostly do audits. So what I use is Screaming Frog, and the new 4.0 version is just amazing. I use Your Profiler. I use, obviously, a few things of Moz. If I have to really go in depth with auditing sites, I use DeepCrawl, onpage.org, because they are really, really wonderful tools. And then what I usually try to use is my curiosity. That's why I was telling you, don't be data-driven. I hate that. Try always to understand the story that a crawl is telling you, that a keyword is telling you. Be creative in your daily work. But yes, those are the tools.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Let's give a big round of applause for Gianluca. Woo!